Hey everyone, Mortgage Nerd here. I'm going to give you the single biggest reason why it's so important to own real estate and hold it into the future. People that said, oh, I sold at the peak at the top. The peak is not here as far as appreciation and value. There is no peak. It's only going to continue to go up. As it goes up, there's ups and downs. We're going to see that here. But what is the single biggest reason that real estate is going to be huge into the future? It's the lack of supply. Lack of supply of anything is going to keep the value of that high. Think of the toilet paper example back during COVID. There's no supply. People will pay whatever for it. They'll say, oh, but these high rates are tapering demand. Correct. Also tapering supply even worse. Because if interest rates are high, the sellers aren't going to sell out of the 3% mortgage to buy it at a 7%. So there's less inventory. I'll give you more data in a second. So let's look at this first chart. This is inventory. Nationally, single family homes. Yeah, every area is different, but overall, notice the ups and downs. Every year there's more inventory and less inventory. Since the market crash in 2008, builders stopped building the way they used to. So we used to have a supply of 4 million homes. Now look at this, barely over a million throughout 2015 to 2020. Then came the pandemic, huge drop. The lowest inventory ever in history was in 2022, just last year. You see that rise between 2022 and 2023, everyone was saying, this means there's going to be another crash. Yeah, we go from the lowest ever to still less than a million, 600,000, 700,000 homes for sale, as opposed to 4 million when the market crashed. But yet people are still calling for this crash that's never going to happen. So now we're back to almost the lowest of the lows in inventory. Here's what you need to understand. This year, there's an estimated 1.9 million new households. That means new people that maybe are in their 20s and they're going out and they're renting their own property or buying their own property, whatever it is. It's a new household form. 1.9 million is what's estimated. Only 1.4 million new housing starts. Builders and developers that have started construction on a property is still short 500,000 to meet the demand of all the new households. This has been going on for 13 years and it's not stopping. Builders aren't building fast enough. Politicians will never give builders the incentives to build more, meaning give them tax credits and cuts in their expenses, because it's bad politics. They'd rather give it to buyers because that looks good. They're helping the poor, not the rich. So we're never going to see a solution to this problem. That is why owning real estate and holding on to it, not selling to buy another one. No, hold it, buy another one. You're going to be well off in 5, 10, 15 years. Maybe this fixes in 10 years. I don't know. But as of right now, 5 to 10 years in the future, you better be owning real estate. People say, oh, but the media is talking about how values are falling. Let's look at home values. Again, this is national, this is median. Median is a bad gauge. Why? Median just means if it's lower, that there's more homes at lower values being sold than higher values. So if people stop buying the $5 million homes, median is going to go down. So it doesn't mean that that there's depreciation. It just means that there's more being sold at lower values than at higher values. So median is terrible, but everyone wants to use it, so let's use it. What the media is going to say, if you look at this chart, is that values are going down. You can see every year values go up and down, up and down. Last year it went up steep and came down steep. So now it's going up, not as steep as last year. So if you compare last year's steepness to this year's not so steep, they're going to say, wow, year over year, values are falling. The appreciation is lower than it was last year. Yeah, but it doesn't mean values are falling. Appreciation is just not as fast as it was last year. So this is why I'm always saying there is no crash. There is nothing of values going down. It's normal fluctuations in the markets, the normal ups and downs that you see every single year. Seasonalities. We might not have the median peak at what the peak was last year. Then the media is going to have a field day with that. But it doesn't mean that values are dropping. Again, it means that there are more sales at lower values than there are sales at higher values. And that this year, it just so happened to be not as good as last year. If you look at 2019 to 2020, it was kind of like that too. 2021 is where the median sales really went up. But we all know 2020 was a frenzy. Bidding wars, people offering way more money than the value because rates were starting to get into the 3s finally. They dipped into the 2s in 2021. I remember correct. That's all. That's why you need to own real estate and hold it, because landlords are going to be the way to go. Renters, unfortunately, is going to be the bad place in the future. Mortgage Nerd out.